Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. So, ngayong araw po ay pag-uusapan po natin ang renewable energy. At ang unang renewable energy na bibigyan po natin ng pansin ay ang wind turbine. So, ngayong araw po ay sasagutin po natin kung paano nga po ba nag-work ang isang wind turbine. At ganoon na rin po ang mga parts or mga bahagi nito. So, bago ko po simulan, hayaan niyo po muna akong ipakilala ang aking mga kagrupo. So, Laika Marie Patanan, John Lander Ducos, Michael Jan Uy, Gilbert Gabiola, Jose Marie Garobo, at ako na si Kashmir Acosta. So, sisimulan po natin ang pag-aaral na ito kung ano nga ba ang isang wind turbine. At iyon po ang unang topic na ibabahagi ng aking kagrupo na si Laika Marie Patanan.
Wind turbine is a type of renewable energy that harnesses the power of wind to produce electricity. The basic idea is that wind turbines uses rotor with attached blades to collect wind's potential and kinetic energy. Wind turns the blades, which spins a shaft that is connected to a generator, which results in generation of electricity. A large number of wind turbines is usually called wind farm. Ito yung, dito mo sinasabi yung basic operational principle ng isang wind turbine para mas madaling maintindihan. Yung wind turbine daw isang renewable energy na kumukuha ng power of wind to produce electricity. The basic idea is that the wind turbine uses rotor na siyang nagpapaigot na naka-attach naman ito sa blade. Yung rotor na yung naka-attach sa blades to call what's potential and kinetic energy. Ito daw yung para daw makolekt yung potential sa kinetic energy ng wind. Kapag nagtuturn yung blades, ini-spin daw din nito yung shaft na nakakonect sa generator na siyang nag-result ng electricity. Kapag marami na yung wind turbines sa isang lugar, ito na daw yung tinatawag na wind farm. Dito natin sa next slide, makikita yung picture ng wind turbine. At saka parang pinapakita din ito yung kung paano gumagana yung wind turbine. Halimbawa, ito, nakita natin yung wind direction na papalapit na sa blades. Na siyang yung blades daw yung nakatouch sa rotor, na siyang kapag dumating yung wind, nagsispin to mga blades. Dito rin natin makikita sa loob yung mga basic parts ng isang wind turbine. Halimbawa, katulad ng low speed shaft, gearbox, generator, controller, anemometer, nacelle, high speed shaft, wind vane, brake, yaw drive, yaw motor, at saka yung tower na siyang nag-hold sa wind turbine. Ito rin. Ito yung basic parts ng wind turbine. Una na dito yung blade. The blade is the part that rotates due to the force it catches from the wind. It is connected to the low-speed shaft via the hub. The low-speed shaft is connected to the gearbox, and the gearbox to the generator. Ito, low-speed shaft na nasa hub. Tapos yung itong low-speed shaft ito ay nakakonect sa gearbox na siya namang naka-connectors. Tapos yung gearbox naman ay connected sa brake, papunta sa high-speed shaft at saka sa generator. Andito yung picture niya. Pangalawa ay yung blade design. Ito yung design ng blade. To produce an amount of power, wind turbine blades generally need to be large and tall. It is shaped to generate the maximum power from the wind at the minimum cost. Improvements in the design has produced new wind turbines which are more compact, quieter and generates more power from the wind. Its length varies at around 50 meters with 107 meter, currently the longest from Siamese Gamesa. Pero ang currently largest largest length is 123 meters. Ito dito na natin makikita sa blade design yung kung paano dito yung design na siyang i-improve para maging more efficient, para mas maraming power yung makuha kapag nagro-rotate yung blades, at saka para na rin mas economical yung paggawa. Sa next picture natin, makikita yung the longest wind turbine in the world. Kung makikita natin yung tao compared sa wind turbine, masyado siyang mahaba at saka mas malaki kaysa sa ini-imagine natin. Ito naman susunod ay yung kasama sa blade design, which is airfoils, ito yung cross-sectional shape of the blades that determines the aerodynamics. They are key to blade design. The airfoil design allows the blade tips of a wind turbine to move faster than the wind is moving, thus generating more power and higher efficiency. Dahil daw dito sa airfoil, mas mabilis gumagalaw yung wind turbine kaysa sa wind. Ang result nito ay mas maraming power yung na bibigay ng wind turbine. Dito naman sa next slide, makikita natin yung thin airfoil family for medium blade at saka yung thick airfoil family for the large blades. Kung makikita natin, yung upper part is yung tip region airfoil, 95% radius. Magkaiba yung sa thin airfoil family compared sa thick airfoil family. Yung lower part nila is mas mataba yung thick airfoil kaysa dun sa thin airfoil. Makikita mo sa lower parts nila yung pagkakaiba nila. Dito naman sa primary outboard airfoil, which is 75 radius, makikita natin na mas matambok yung nasa thick airfoil kaysa sa thin airfoil family. Ganon din sa root region airfoil, which is the lowest part na may 40% radius. Magkakamukha yung upper part nila, pero sa lower part nila, natin makikita yung pagkakaiba nila.
So now let's talk about blade aerodynamics and how it works. First, babasahin natin yung description na nakalagay. Wind turbine blades work by generating two aerodynamic forces. The number one is lift force and drag force. This is due to wind and their airfoils. Lift force is perpendicular to the airflow and is in line with blade rotation. Drag force is in line with apparent wind direction, which is in opposition of the blade motion. Drag increases in proportion to the frontal area of an object facing the wind. So, sa madaling salita, ang blade aerodynamics ay merong dalawang forces. Ang una is lift force. Ang lift force dito sabi perpendicular siya sa wind, no? And makikita natin sa figure dito na yung lift is medyo pangat siya and yung drag force is parang sabay lang siya sa flow ng blade. So yun nga, lift force is perpendicular and the drag force is parallel. Take note, sabi pa dito, drag force is in opposition of the blade motion. So, ayun. Mostly, yung lift force is sila yung parang nasusunod kung saan yung ikot ng blade natin, ng wind turbine. So, next. So, now, next slide. Makikita natin yung lift and drag formula. So, sa lift force, meron tayong formula na L stands for lift is equal to C sub L times density or rho times velocity squared times area over 2. So, dito naman sa ating drag force, which is naka-indicate dito, D is equal to C sub D times the density of the air, rho, V squared times A, area, all over 2. So, another thing in blade aerodynamics, the airfoil is able to bring ease for the blade to attain difference in pressure on both sides. So, yun, take note. Sa bawat side ng ating blade is meron siyang difference in pressure. So, sandal natin. The most curved side, or we may say the convex side, generates low air pressure, while high pressure air pushes on the less curved side, or we may say the side with the slightly concave part. This is actually the reason for the blade rotation. So, yung sabi ko kanina, mostly, dito, yung high pressure air, mas malakas yung high pressure niya sa less curved side. Which is kabaliktaran noong convex side, yung mas curved na side. Mas mababa yung air pressure doon. So, bakit? Kasi dahil sa kanilang shape. So, mas convex yung isa, and yung isa slightly concave lang. So, may difference in shape, difference in pressure. So, now, how we will determine the rotation of an wind turbine. So, dito, meron tayong figure na nag-illustrate na meron nakalagay na optimum angle of attack. So, ano nga ba yung angle of attack na yon? So, sabi nga natin kanina sa previous slide, doon nagmumula yung high pressure, yung slightly concave part. Ibig sabihin, doon nagsisimula yung angle of attack para ma-push yung blade para umikot. So, ito pa another question. What will be the rotation of the blade? Is it pushed to the side that has more curve or pushed to the side that has less curve? Siyempre, mas mapupush siya sa less curve. Kaya sabi mo yung balik tayo sa ating slide. Babasahin ko ulit. The most curved side, or we may say the convex, generate low air pressure, while high pressure air pushes on the less curved side. Diba? Kaya sabi na dito, sa high pressure air, siya yung nagpupush sa less curved side na side ng isang blade. So, yan. Next. So, next is, itong figure na to, sinushow niya yung front side and back side, as well as the leading edge fan, trailing edge of the blade. So, yun, makikita natin, ang laki po ng isang wind turbine kumpara sa tao. So, makikita natin, itong blade natin sa ating wind turbine is nag-rotate siya. So, madidiscuss natin siya sa next slide. So, next. Ayan. Blade design. In addition to its curved design, twisted and tapered blades further enhance its aerodynamics with the combined effect of twisting and tapering the blade along its length improves the angle of attack, increasing speed, efficiency, and lift while reducing drag. So, yung sabi ko kanina, etong blade natin is nakadepende siya sa flow ng hangin, kung saan siya haharap or saan sa basta. Kasi mas dinesign nito, kung bakit siya ganun dinesign is para mas higher efficiency siya sa pag-produce ng electricity. And so addition pa, mapapasin natin sa figure na parang may pagka-curve talaga siya sa ating blade design. So bakit ganun? Para ma-enhance nga yung ma-enhance and ma-improve yung angle of attack niya, and syempre mapapabilis din yung speed, yung pag-ikot na yung rotation ng isang wind turbine. And kapag napaikot ng mas mabilis yun, edi mas mataas or mas malaki yung mapoproduce niyang kuryente or electricity.
Here's now the question. Based on the previous slides, what number of blades is the best design in consideration of all factors in construction and operation of wind turbine? So, we've already know that the rear of the blade is more curved than the front. The varied shape causes a pressure differential when the air moves across the blade, which is not causes the blades to move. Because of the obstruction of the blade, it moves at a faster velocity behind the blade than it in front of it. This is what sets the rotation of the blades in motion. So, sinasabi dito na ang hulihan daw ng blades o yung dulo ng blades ay mas curved kaysa doon sa harap. At ang ibang hugis ng blades ay nagdudulot ng pagkakaiba ng presyon kapag ang hangin ay gumagalaw sa blades, na siyang nagiging sanhi ng paggalaw ng mga ito. Dahil sa gabal ng mga ito, ang hangin ay gumagalaw na mas mabilis pa sa likod kaysa sa harap nito. Ito ang nagtatakda ng pag-ikot ng mga blades sa paggalaw. So, sabi dito ay engineers must consider speed and drag in designing the blades to ensure the highest level of efficiency. For example, if too much drag is created by the obstruction of the blades, the power yield will be a lot lower. If it's not enough drag is created, the blades could move too quickly, causing them to break the sound barrier. So, sabi rito na dapat isa-alang-alang natin ang mga ito dahil ang bilis at pagdrag ng pagdisenyo ng mga blades ay dapat matiyak na pinakamataas ang taas ng kausayan. Halimbawa, kung masyadong marami ang drag ang nalikahan sa pamamagitan ng pagharang ng blades, magiging mas mababa ang power yield. Kung hindi sapat ang pagka-drag, maaaring masyadong mabilis na magalaw ang mga blades na madudulot sa kanila na masira ang sound barrier. So, dito tayo sa rule. The rule of thumb are the fewer blades the better, since there will be less drag and an increase in efficiency. The number of the blade increases the torque and reduces the optimum rotation. Having fewer blades reduces drag. So, sinasabi lang dito na ang mas mababang bilang ng blade ay mas better dahil sa mababang drag nito. Proceed tayo sa next slide. Because of the decreased drag, one blade would be the optimum number when it comes to the energy yield. However, one blade could causes the turbine to become unbalanced, and this is not practical choice for stability of the turbine. So, sa pagiging less drag nga ng isang blade, it became an optimal number for energy field. So, gayon pa man, ang isang blade ay maaaring maging sanhi ng ang isang blade lang ay maaaring maging sanhi ng hindi pagkakabalanse ng isang turbine. At ito ay hindi isang practical na pagpipilian para sa katatagan ng isang turbine. At first glance, two-bladed turbine seems like the optimal configuration for a wind turbine. Perfectly balanced, and with one blade less than a three-bladed turbine, they will be generate less drag. So, why aren't all turbines made with two blades? It has troubles in yawing. Yaw is when its head for nacelle turns to face the wind. Due to an effect called gyroscopic precession, when a blade turbine yaw, it creates a wobble as the blades go from the vertical plane on the horizontal plane, which additional stresses on the mountain bearings, wearing them down faster. So, sabi dito na sa unang tingin ang dalawang blades na nga naman ay ng turbine ay tila mas balanse at maayos para sa isang wind turbine. Perfectong balanse, at ang isang blade naman ay mababa ang three-bladed turbine. Sila ay bubuo ng mas kaunting drag. Nahihirapan ito sa pag-andar dahil ang yaw ay kapag ang ulo nito o yung sa nacelle ay nakaharap sa hangin, isang epekto na tinatawag na gyroscopic precession. Kapag ang two-blade turbine ay lumikha ito ng bubble habang ang blades ay pumupunta mula sa vertical plane patungo sa horizontal plane na naglalagay ng mga karagdagang stress sa mountain bearings na mas mabilis na nahulog ang mga ito. So, any number of blades greater than 3 would create greater wind resistance, slowing generation of electricity and thus becoming less efficient than a 3-blade turbine. So, ang bilang ng blades na masigit pa sa tatlo ay gagawa ng mas mataas na resistensya ng hangin, nagpapabagal pagbuo ng kuryente, at gayon ay nagiging hindi gaanong mahusay o kaya maayos. For this reason, turbines designed with 3 blades are the ideal compromise between high energy yield and greater stability and durability of the turbine itself. Sa mga nabanggit, ang tatlong blade ang may pinakamaayos na bilang para sa isang turbine dahil sa high energy yield and greater stability and durability of the turbine. According to the wind speed and relative velocity of the angle, a blade tilting mechanism is sensor coupled of parts of the wind turbine which tilts the blades and guarantee a proper alignment of the blades with the relative velocity so that its position is always blade tilting mechanism is a sensor coupled parts of the wind turbine which tilts the blades and guarantees a proper alignment of the blades with relative velocity so that its position is always at the optimum angle of attack. So sinasabi dito na ang blade tilting mechanism ay isang sensor na pinagsama-sama ng mga bahagi ng wind turbine na may gana ng mga blades at guaranteed ang tamang pagkakahanay ng mga blades sa relatibong ito upang ang mga posisyon nito ay palagi nasa pinakamainam na anggulo.
So, mapunta naman tayo dito sa nacelle. Nacelle is the housing at the back of the blade which contains the slow spin shaft, gearbox, generator, and other small parts inside it. So, ito yung housing ng mga parts sa loob ng isang wind turbine. So, siya yung nagpo-protect, and dito nilalagay yung mga smaller parts para mas mag-function siya ng maayos, walang sagabal. Hindi siya maapektuhan ng sobrang lakas na hangin o kaya hindi siya mababasa. So, yun yan. Siya yung nagpo-protecta dun sa mga smaller parts ng wind turbine. And siya rin yung nag-hold sa lahat ng parts na yan para kumonekta naman dun sa tinatawag na hub
at dun sa blade at mismo sa mismong rotor. Next naman is yung gearbox. Gearbox is the component which converts the slow rotation of the blade into faster speed. This is needed simply because the rotation of the blade generated from the force of the wind is usually not enough for a generator to achieve a grid quality voltage output. Most generators need to be turned at 1,500 RPM for 50 Hz and 1,800 RPM for 60 Hz. In no way it is feasible for a turbine blade to move that fast. So yung gearbox naman yung nagpapabilis nung pag-turn ng blade. So kung mabagal yung pag-turn ng blade, yung gearbox, yung mga mechanism doon sa loob ng gearbox yung nagpapatuloy nun para makapag-produce ng higher output of energy which will be converted into electric energy. So sabi dito, kailangan magkaroon ng 1,500 RPM na mechanical activity doon sa loob ng gearbox para makapag-produce ng 50 Hz. And consecutively 60 Hz naman ang kailangan is 1,800 RPM. Sa gearbox, ang common ratio naman is yung 90:1 with the rate 16.7 RPM input from the rotor to 1,500 RPM doon naman sa output sa generator. So ibig sabihin, kada isang turn ng blade, kailangan yung nasa loob na mechanism ng gearbox is kaya niyang i-convert sa 90 RPM. Kung mas mababa doon, hindi siya pwedeng ilagay dito sa wind turbine kasi mas mababa yung output na mapoproduce niya. So, mas mababang output ng electricity. So, kailangan 90 or more. Hindi pwedeng 80 or 70 kasi hindi na siya magiging convenient para maging energy resources. So, ang sunod naman is yung gearless naman na wind turbine. So, kung yung kanina is yung merong gearbox, which is siya yung nagpapabilis nung pag-turn ng blade para mas makapag-produce ng higher energy o yung higher mechanical activity na magpo-produce naman electric energy. So, dito naman sa direct drive or yung gearless na wind turbine, in a direct drive turbine, there is no gearbox. The main shaft spins the generator directly, causing it to spin at the same speed as the turbine blades. Comparing to gear type, the slow rotation and decrease in moving parts of PMDD or yung permanent magnet direct drive generator reduces fatigue and stresses on the turbine, resulting to reduced noise and vibration, longer lifetime, and lower cost of maintenance. So sinasabi dito na wala ka ng gearbox, so wala ka ng pampatulin ng turn ng blade. So ibig sabihin, kung gaano kabilis yung blade mo, yun na yung magiging bilis ng mechanical energy na mapuproduce mo. So pinapalakas di ba kanina sinabi ko doon sa gearbox na kailangan may pampatulin doon para makapag-produce ng mas madaming energy. So, dito naman, pinapalakas nito yung wind turbine gamit yung magnet. Nagpo-produce siya ng magnetic force or yung mga tinatawag na flux para makapag-produce ng higher amount of energy which can be converted sa electrical energy. So, doon pa rin sa direct drive gearless or gearless turbine. An important fact is that due to wind inconsistency, the gear type turbines often operate at partial loads. The efficiency of PMDD generator excels even in these conditions because it continues working nearly to nominal values. This design makes suited even in offshore wind application. So mabalik ko lang pala doon sa isang slide kanina. Sinabi doon na nagkakaroon ng less fatigue o yung parang nakakapag-lessen din siya ng noise at vibration since wala na nga siya nung extra mechanism na galing doon sa gearbox. So dito sa direct drive, wala ka ng gearbox, so rekta na. Wala ka nang magdadaanan pa ng mga mechanism para nagpo-produce ng mga vibrations which pwedeng makapag-cause pa nung sira dun sa mismong turbine. So, longer lifetime yung turbine na yun and lower cost of maintenance since nami-minimize nga na yung mga factors na pwedeng maka-apekto do sa whole body ng turbine. Kasi minsan kapag nasira yung mismong gearbox dun sa wind turbine na merong gearbox, dami-dami yun since iisa nga lang sila ng body. So dito sa direct drive wind turbine o yung gearless wind turbine, nababawasan yung mga factors na yun. Dito, ang isa pang kinaganda dito sa direct drive wind turbine ay yung hindi niya kailangan na itayo dun sa mga lugar na mahangin. Kasi nga, meron na siyang pinoproduce na force galing dun sa mga magnet na naka-built-in dun sa mismong mechanism niya. Hindi niya na kailangan ng sobrang lakas na hangin. Kasi wala na siyang gearbox na kailangan pang malakas na hangin para makapag-produce ng madaming energy. One main disadvantage of PMDD is that to make up for its slower rotation, more magnets are added to create the required frequency and power. This increases the diameter of the generator, which makes it larger and often heavier than geared type wind turbine. Another thing is that the additional magnets being used in this type made up of neodymium, which is expensive. So, isa din yun ito naman, tinutukoy naman dito yung disadvantage naman ng PMDD. So, kung kanina yung advantage niya is lower maintenance, lower cost maintenance, tapos more lifetime, parang ganun, hindi siya masyadong masisira kasi less mechanism siya, walang masyadong factor na nakaka-affect dun sa function ng wind turbine. Dito naman, tinutukoy yung cost ng mismong pagbuo ng wind turbine ngayon kasi yung magnets na kailangan doon is mas madami and mayroong specific na magnet na kailangan i-add doon. So yun nga yung neodymium na sa China lang mostly nakikita. So sobrang baba ng production ng magnets na yun, so nakaka-apekto yun sa presyo niya. And kung mataas yung presyo ng parts, lalaki din yung gastos dun sa pagbuo ng mismong wind turbine. The cost and weight of the direct drive turbines have prevented it from presenting major competition to the gearbox turbines until recently. But other experts claim that direct drive technology will eventually become the dominant one since the gearbox wind turbine is almost at its maximum efficiency point, while the PMDD generators have more possibilities for improvement. So kahit na mas sikat ngayon yung may gearbox na wind turbine, pinaniniwalaan pa rin ng mga experts na balang araw mas magagamit yung PMDD na generator since mas efficient to kasi yung pag-produce pa lang nung malakas na hangin is hindi na siya hindi siya masyadong consistent. So, yung pagkakaroon ng wind turbine na merong gearbox is parang nagiging less efficient na siya as the time pass by. So, kahit mahal tong PNDD generators, pininiwalaan pa rin na mas magiging convenient ito kumpara dun sa may gearbox. Since, meron pa nga itong improvement na magagawa. Meron pang improvement na magagawa dito sa mga gearless wind turbine kasi under studies pa siya. Hindi siya katulad ng gearbox na completed na and pawala na yung efficiency point niya. Kumbaga, palaos na. Ang susunod na part is yung brake. The brake system in a wind turbine is a protective device coupled with sensors which automatically stops the rotation of the blades whenever it detects activities that could harm the system during operation. Very high wind speed, vital parts not working, maintenance in power lines, and etc. So ito, yung brake, parang katulad lang ng sa ibang machines natin. So, ito yung parang nag-i-stop dun sa buong mechanism para ma-stop yung more destruction dun sa buong mechanism natin. Kapag meron siyang na-detect na isang error o kaya isang sira dun sa buong mechanism, ito yung parang automatic na mag-i-stop dun sa buong mechanism para hindi na lumala yung sira na yun. So, coupled with sensors which automatically stops the rotation of the blades. So, ito, hindi siya katulad ng ibang machines na kailangan pa ng manual observation o kaya check pa talaga para i-activate yung brake. So, syempre, ang tataas ng mga turbine na kailangan censored na siya. Kumbaga, meron na siyang naka-attach ng mga sensors dun sa wind turbine para in case man na magkaroon ng problema dun, hindi nalalaki.
Yaw system. Yaw system is a sensor equipment mechanism consisting primarily of yaw motor, yaw drives, and others. Its function is to automatically rotate the nozzle on the top of the tower so that the set blades is facing the wind directly all the times. It detects its proper direction through electronic information being fed by the wind vane located at the back. This ensures the wind turbine is producing the maximum amount of electric energy. Di ba po, hindi po natin alam kung saan po nagmumula yung hangin po kasi po wala naman pong permanent direction po yan. Ito po, ginawa po tong yaw system na to para po ma-detect po nito kung saan po talaga nagmumula yung hangin at ma-rotate po yung nozzle sa taas po at para ma-produce po yung maximum amount of electric energy. Tower, wind velocity increase at higher altitude. This means the taller the tower, the greater electricity it can produce. Majority of wind turbines are supported by conical tubular steel towers with a height of usually 75 to 110 meters, depending on the blade's diameter. The tallest is steel for completion in the mid of 2022, which is 280 meters long, to be installed at the test center in Western Jutland, Denmark. Dito naman po, ang tower naman po ay nagbibigay suporta po sa nasa sa taas at ang karaniwang laki po ng tower ay 75 to 110 meters na ang pinakamalaki po ngayon na natala po ay 280 meters long, pero ito po ay hindi pa po gumagana at to be installed po sa Western Jutland, Denmark. Wind turbine, parts and function. Dito naman po, iano po natin na year by year po yung improvement po ng wind turbine. Nung year 2000 po, ang average height po ng isang wind turbine po ay 58 meters na may diameter po na 48 meters. Noong 2005 naman po, medyo mahabol na po yung average rotor diameter na 65 meters at may average height po na 75 meters. Noong 2010 po, parang mas lumaki na po yung average rotor diameter na 84 meters kaysa sa average hub ng height, average hub height ng isang wind turbine na 80 meters. Parang mas lumaki po yung LEC po or blades ng wind turbine habang tumatagal po year by year po. Noong 2015 naman po, ang average height po ng isang wind turbine po ay 82 meters na may average rotor diameter na 102. Di ba po, habang tumatagal po, mas lumalaki po yung rotor ng isang wind turbine kasi po, habang lumalaki po yung mas malaki po yung nakukuwang napoproduce na electric energy po. Noong 2018 po, mayroon pong average, yung wind turbine po, mayroon po siyang average height na 88 meters at mayroon po siyang average rotor diameter na 116. Year by year po talaga nag-i-improve po talaga yung wind turbine. Wind turbine ideal location. The best place for wind farms are in the coastal areas, at the tops of the rounded hills, open plains, and gaps in the mountain. Place where the wind is strong and reliable. Some are offshore. To be worthwhile, this should be speed around 25 kilometers per hour. Dito naman po, pag magtatayo po tayo ng isang wind farm, ang pinaka best place po nito ay sa mga tabing dagat, sa ibabaw ng burol, ganun po. At bago po tayo magtayo po ng isang wind farms, i-test muna po natin na may dapat po yung wind speed po niya ay dapat po ay maging 25 kilometers po per hour. Yun po yung dapat na sundin natin bago po tayo magtayo ng wind farm. Dito naman po tayo sa wind turbine advantage and disadvantage. Advantage muna po tayo. Ang wind turbine po ay kailangan lang po ng hangin at hindi po ito gumagamit ng anumang fuel. Tapos, isa po pong advantage nito pong wind turbine ay hindi po siya nagpo-produce ng waste or greenhouse gases. Tapos po, isa po pong advantage nito ay sa pagtatayo po nito ay magagamit pa po natin yung baba ng lupa or baba ng pinagtayuan ng wind turbine kasi po hindi po ito kumakain ng malaking space. Tapos po, isa pa pong advantage ito ay maganda po itong kuhanan ng kuryente. Dito naman po tayo sa disadvantage. Ito po ay yung, di ba po, yung hangin po, hindi naman po natin alam kung kailan ito malakas, kung saan ito direction na tapos ito po pong isang isa pong disadvantage po. Hindi po ito pwedeng itayo sa mga mabababang lugar or katulad na sa farm, ganun, sa mga not suitable area. Ito lang po ay tinatayo sa mga tabing dagat, sa taas ng burol, ganun po. Pag meron po kayong, ito po yung isang disadvantage. Pag meron po kayong wind turbine po, maaari po itong makakos sa television reception kapag meron po kayong malapit na wind turbine. Top 6 largest wind farm. Number 1 in our list is Gansu Wind Farm. The electricity capacity na napoproduce po nito ay 7,965 megawatts at ito po ay hindi pa po full upgrade, kumbaga ito po ay under construction po na pwede po pong umabot ng 20,000 megawatts na ito po ay tinayo sa bansang China. At lipat naman po tayo dito sa number 2.
Alta Wind Energy Center. Ito po ay, ang capacity po nito ay 1,548 megawatts at may upgrade, pwede pa po itong tumaas na hanggang sa 3,000 megawatts na ito naman po ay tinayo sa bansang California, USA. Number 3 in our list is Mupandal Wind Farm na capacity is 1,500 megawatts at ito po ay tinayo sa bansang India. Number 4 in our list is Hornsea Project 1. The capacity of this is 1,218 megawatts at ito po ay tinayo sa bansang UK. Number 5 in our list is Mark Biden Wind Farm. At ito po ay, ang capacity po nito ay 1,120 megawatts at ito po ay maaari pong ma-develop hanggang sa 4,000 megawatts. At ito po ay tinayo sa bansang Sweden. Numbers in our list is Jaisalmer Wind Park. Ito naman po ay may capacity na 1,064 megawatts at ito po ay tinayo sa bansang India. Gansu Wind Farm. The Gansu Wind Farm project or Jiquan Wind Power Base is a group of large wind farms under construction in western Gansu province in China. In 2008, construction began on a 700 kilovolts AC power line to carry electricity from the wind farm, and construction of the wind farms themselves started in August 2009. In November 2010, officials announced the completion of the project's first phase involving the installation of 3,500 wind turbines with an installed capacity of approximately 5,160 megawatts. It has an estimated cost of 120 billion Chinese yuan or 17.5 billion US dollars. The project is being built by more than 20 developers. Burgos Wind Farm. The 150 megawatts Burgos Wind Farm is the largest wind power project in Southeast Asia, located in Burgos, Ilocos Norte, Philippines. The estimated cost for the construction of the wind farm was 450 million US dollar, which was completed in 2015. Located within a 600 hectare site, the facility consists of 50 wind turbines, each with a capacity of 3 megawatts, generating an electricity to the Luzon grid. Each wind turbine rests on the tubular steel tower, has a 75 meters hub height and a 90 meters rotor diameter.
Para po sa ating pagtatapos at para na rin po sa ating konklusyon, ang isang wind turbine po ay gumagana sa pamamagitan ng hangin. Ang pangunahing ideya po ng wind turbine ay gumagamit po siya ng rotor na may mga nakakabit na blades upang mangolekta ng mga potential at kinetic energy na mula sa hangin. So pinapaikot po ng hangin ng mga blades na siya naman po nagpapaikot sa tubo na konektado sa generator na nagre-resulta ng pagbuo ng kuryente. So yun lamang po ang aming report at dito na rin po nagtatapos. So maraming salamat po sa pakikinig.